Thank you for keeping it on UBC TV, and of course my producer Ramadan Dungu for that lovely song, Diamonds on the Souls. That is a very lovely song for people, most of those that went to traditional schools. Such music, was the music to listen to. Today, I don't understand certain things, certain music, all about the message, every instrument comes out very clearly. You can get every word. That is our music. Yes, guys of Vundeje, Chisubi, Chitende, those mighty schools. Of course, my colleague Felix may not, I don't know if the schools you went to, you listen to all of these guys that are, Simani, Wata, Wakati, songs we don't even understand them.
Just listen to the lyrics.
Just listen to the lyrics.
Very, very well.
Those days I used to sing Bikira Maria.
No, you were a seminary. Yeah.
Nyimba za fe. Aze, Mnunuzi, Moyomutu, Kilivaja. For me, those are classicals for me.
Okay. Well, it is a GMU segment where we look at an issue of national concern, but also, very importantly, this is a segment where you'll be able to call in and be part of the discussion. Today we are going to be looking at the journalist strike against police brutality. Well, this week, a lot has been happening. We've seen so much of tear gas, exchange of bitter words, arrests here and there of journalists. But all began, the latest, that is in Makere, the Makere strike. There we saw police preventing journalists from doing their work, or journalists insisting to do their work amidst the prevailing situation that were at Makere. There was so much on social media, so much complaints came up, and the journalists under their association, that is Ruja, and also there is also another body that fights for the rights of journalists, came together, put up a petition, and they had to deliver that to the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okoth Ochola. It didn't happen the way they had planned, and of course we saw forth and back, scuffles here, some were even injured. But within the studios to discuss this topic is former Uja President, Robert Kagolo. Kagolo.
Yes.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
A senior journalist?
Yes.
A man who has been a field soldier for over 15 years in journalism.
Yeah.
He's seen it all, covered riots, he's seen the ups, he's seen the downs, different inspectors of police as well.
Many of them.
Different commanders.
Cows.
So we have a well-informed person to discuss this topic, and of course, a former president of the body that governs and unites all journalists in this country. But before we go into the topic of discussion, let's first take a look at this story. What happened as journalists were taking their petition to the Inspector General of Police.
As early as 10 a.m., journalists staged at Woman River grounds, arranging to march to police headquarters in Kagolo. They were due to petition the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okoth Ochola, for what they refer to as police unfair treatment in the course of duty. It follows the ongoing Makere University protest of the 15% tuition increment.
Protesting peacefully, but police, as we were reaching Electoral Commission, they came and they started brutalizing us, tear gassing us, beating us.
We had our petition to present to the IGP, and we informed the relevant authorities, and we were marching peacefully to go and meet the IGP, and police intercepted and tear gassed everyone and arrested the leadership.
Police arranged to have a smaller group, led by the leadership of journalists, deliver the petition. They were provided a shuttle to ease transport. The journalists selected a group to fill the 33-seater shuttle, heading to Naguru Police Headquarters. Meanwhile, the remaining groups protested, being left behind. This resulted in an engagement with provocative actions, setting the road along Ginger Road to lure police into reaction. Journalists were intercepted in the march to Kagolo. Earlier on, at CPS Kampala, Metropolitan Commander Moses Kafel failed to calm angry journalists. At Naguru Police Headquarters, only 10 were allowed from the 33-seater bus to the meeting, which caused another scuffle between journalists and police. At Naguru Police Headquarters, Uja President Kaziwe Bashir presented a petition to police officials led by Commissioner of Police Political Commissar AIGP Hassan Kasenje. Among the demands were police officers who beat up journalists are held liable. He also called for police public apology.
The parading and public prosecution of all the police officers who got involved in assaulting journalists and interfering with their noble journalism work, which is always in the public interest.
AIGP Hassan Kasenje promised to forward the petition.
Reach him. As it is, it will reach him.
Nevertheless, all journalists agreed to maintain the blackout to all police events.
Still on, the ban shall not relent until the police leadership has come up with clear, tangible responses to the demands that have been put up to them.
Abdul Nasser Rubwama for UBC News.
That is what happened. On that day, they were supposed to deliver a petition. Finally, they did. But on their way, they were intercepted, driven to Central Police Station, put in a police coaster, and, of course, taken to police headquarters. And they were told, select your representatives to go and meet. Hassan Kasenje is the Chief Political Commissar of Uganda Police Force there, and a few members of the leadership of the Uganda Police Force. But also, there was a group that was being led by a gentleman whose name I'll be able to recall later. It is a body that fights for the rights. It's Uganda.
Is that Sempala?
Yes, Sempala, yes. It was prevented from accessing police headquarters. They decided to sit in the road, and of course, tear gas canisters was a solution to get them out of the way. Kagolo.
Yes.
You've seen it all, the journalism fraternity. Right from 2011, when we began seeing the walk to work, that hustle. But first and foremost, I want us to begin not with the acts of police, but the behavior, the conduct of journalists. Are we worth our salt?
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, what happened was not good. That journalists were tear gassed and beaten. That one is not okay, because journalists must work with the police. Police needs journalists, and journalists needs police. Without journalists can survive within every situation, because for us we are looking for news. If you want it or not, you either cover police or not. If you don't cover police, it will not stop police from doing its work. But if you don't cover it, you will miss out. And Ugandans are expecting you to give them information about police and what's happening in the country, because police has got a lot of news from it. We used to have a weekly press briefing. I think it was Monday.
It's still police,
every Monday, which is a very good case. If we have got any problem, we can go in that press briefing and raise our issues within that very meeting. I'll tell them, please. So and so was beaten, and this one was beaten. So what? Then you ask for solution from that meeting. Instead of taking the street, it causes for something else. First of all, you call for hooligans, bad people to join you, and then portray you as your hooligans. The motive of taking the petition to police headquarters, it was a very good move, but it was mishandled. The way it was conducted, that's where I have a problem with. And it's not the first that is of its kind that we are petitioning police. When you are petitioning police, what is your intention? Is it that you want to get assistance, or you want to put a fight? Are we fighting, or we are looking for the remedies to sort out the problems? What is the problem at play? The problem is journalists were beaten, which is very bad. Then, is your petition stopping the beating over the journalists? You are asking if those people to be paraded. Is your petition going to force police to parade those people? What is the best way of seeing these people who beat and clobbered journalists being paraded? If you want them to be paraded, is it solving the problem? Because since me I joined in 2003, I don't know where those people were, all of those people who were in the field. In 2003, some of them were seen in primary. I joined journalism. I have been covering very well. But we have had misunderstanding with the police.
Very often.
The misunderstanding with the police comes from the operation. Sometimes the operation gets out of control, and the police really forgets you. There is a story that I can give you. In the war of this one of 1986, the people started fighting, and they went and fight. A woman carried a cat instead of a baby. She remembered after some time that I've gone with a cat instead of a baby, and then she went back. So also, when the riot intensifies, when the rioters, police sometimes forgets, and it does not discriminate. So journalists, when you are doing your work, you must know that police is doing its work also. You should also be doing your work. We forget that we are the one who's supposed to be working. Police should not be working. Also, that one is wrong. So we must strike a balance. When you're a journalist, you go on the safe side, on the safe zone. When police or army tells you, don't cross here, you should not cross. Two, we should also...
Kagolo, before we get into how these operations, how journalists must handle themselves during these operations, the first thing I ask, and the first question that you want to know, we must look at first and foremost the people that we are having in the field. Most of the field soldiers, because you have editors, you have all this, but you have the field soldiers, the people that go down to the field. Are these people competent enough?
The field generals, they are not. They are not competent enough. First of all, senior journalists, they exit the field very fast. Reason being that they can't be facilitated, can't be paid well. I told you, when I was here president of journalists, I went to eastern Uganda, to be specific, in that side of Jinja and what have you. Journalists were being paid as low as 500 shillings per story, not 100,000 shillings or dollars, but 500 shillings. What can 500 shillings buy? 1,000 per story. How do you expect a journalist who is paid 500 to remain in the field? So the exodus from the media, the rate is so high to the extent that we cannot have cream good journalists remain in the field. All good journalists, they are exiting seriously for greener pastures, because the field in which they are operating cannot allow them to have money. We are shopping in the same supermarket with someone who is getting 5 million, 45 million. How much money is a journalist earning? Some of our people, the bosses, they are giving us peanuts. And the training of these journalists is also down. We get half-baked people to join the field. And those half-baked people, they come with all their ignorance in the field.
PR firms.
They join. Of course, we have seen all. Mwangusha is my friend. Charles is now somewhere else. These are the people I'm talking about. I was with the Morris Mugisha. He's now with the deputy MD here. These are serious people.
Solomon, public relations, judiciary.
They are now in judiciary. I can talk about URA. Then there is also there are some senior people. Catherine Tabade was in Red Cross. They have all exited. It's apart from you and me, who are still here. These younger boys and girls are in the field. They don't know what to do. They just get excited. That rural urban excitement is disturbing journalism in this country. All these people who come in, you know what they say? I want to make a name. People should know me. You should separate things.
And the quickest way to make a name, of course, is conflict.
You want then who is going to benefit?
I'll come to
journalism
Felix
is going to
be here. Felix, you've observed for a long time what is happening in the media. But one of the things that has always been a challenge is whenever there are operations, we see journalists being hurt, and we see the story makers now are now part of the victims. Story. They also become the victims. Is it police to blame? Is it journalists to blame? I want to begin with that. according to you, who has watched these things from?
I think I wouldn't take the word blame, with due respect, from your question. I think the issues should be about responsibility. And as my senior here simply asserted, that it's just about knowing our roles in every situation. I believe as police is carrying out work, so is a journalist. Okay? Now, it is going to speak to the two people who are working together and their discipline about their work.
Yes.
It's going to speak to them about respect for each other when both are carrying out their work, because they work in the same space. So, at the point where both of them cease to understand their limits, that's where we have conflict. You understand? Just like sharing a room with someone, a roommate, and you just don't know your space. So I'm saying, don't step on my bed. So he's saying, no, I can step on it. What will you do?
On your body.
This kind of thing. So it is just, I think it all goes back to, one, what kind of journalists we usher out today. Do we have ethical codes?
They are there, but they all breached.
Exactly.
They are no longer following them.
But also, the big thing we must discuss, people may shun, is the leadership. It's important. It's important, mostly for the side of the journalists. It is very important that, as he did say, what is the intention of why we want to have a industrial action or demonstrate? What is the intention? Does this particular mean deliver us to the intention? You understand? Because we must, or are we seeing what we call interior motives? Is there something hidden you're not seeing?
Motives.
Exactly.
Most of these people, let me come in, they are vying for political positions, first of all. For me, I concentrated on the media issues only. I did not want to involve myself in the political affairs.
But you see, Mr. Kagolo,
today,
one of the quickest ways to access political mileage has become the media.
Yes.
And when you look
that's
at
exactly
a
where
chain of who have been in the
that's
media,
exactly
and
where we go wrong.
Thank you. And that's what the mistake is. But it's something
and
that,
what they
something
do,
that
as
you raised.
as you're still having this platform, of course you're using it to shoot in the direction where you want to go. I've seen a number of leaders, apart from you when you are at the helm of Wuja. The second is declaring political interests. If your predecessor, the person you came after, he was. And he wanted. With Sokaterega. All of it seems this is that trait, that when you take over Uja, the second is look for a constituency.
They are using it as a springboard.
And we must be honest to our colleagues in the field there, that most of the times, and this is the ugly truth, journalists have been used. Every person in this country is using the journalist. But the journalist is staying in the same place or getting in a worse position. I think, or in my opinion, I would want to have intellectual discussions of Wuja vis-a-vis the payment of journalists.
Exactly. You see, what I was pushing
everyone
for,
is going to the president for circles.
What I was pushing for, my brother, was a better pay
but
for
your
journalists.
time was declared a regime of cowards, Kagolo.
No.
And this is seen as a regime
but let me tell
people
you,
who are standing out for the rights of journalists.
let me tell you, for me,
you
I
were
concentrated
timid, you
on
were
the
aligned
issues.
to NRM.
I
want to
concentrated
tell you,
on the issues
Kagolo,
of
I want you
journalism.
to justify this
Yes.
regarding to what is happening.
Yes.
Today, many journalists, what is happening, this industrial action, this resistance,
strikes,
is
what is
seen
happening?
as seen as fighting for the rights of journalists. Kagolo's administration, Katerega's administration, these were NRM-leaning people. They were cowards. They didn't defend the interests of journalists, and that is what they were classified as.
Which interest are they defending now? Which interest? Those people who are demonstrating, which interest are they defending? First of all, journalists, have their payment, remuneration, has it been improved?
After the strike, they are going to walk back to an empty stomach.
They don't have anything. And I'm telling you, journalism is just worsening. First, because unless they are telling me they are using it as a springboard to get the political capital, as they are pushing for. For me, I never wanted to contest for any political position, but I wanted to make Wuja better. By the time I entered the office, there was no money at all. The association didn't have even a single coin. I I sat with the executive and looked for ways of getting money. But today, I don't see any way of getting money for the association. I don't see any way of bettering the association. Apart from these demonstrations, advocacy, then what? But how is it going to solve the bigger problem of the journalists? We all know, me and you. Felix has put it very right, that journalists were being used. It's true. Journalists are being used.
And that's wrong.
Yes, they are being used. I'm telling you. For me, I was in that office, and people wanted to use me, but I said, no, I cannot do like that.
Let's look at these very important factors affecting the journalism fraternity. First and foremost, of course, we're going to close offer to police and say there are mistakes. But first and foremost, we are having journalists in the field that are poorly paid.
Yes.
You know?
And that would simply mean they can easily be compromised.
These can easily
so who are they reporting for?
I'm going to give you a list of problems, and I want to tell you that, you know, we need to look behind the scene. How have we gotten to this? Journalists who do not have any contract.
They don't have. Most
whose stories and
so
what
they
do
are
on
favor.
They don't at
They are
all.
not seeing any goodness in their profession.
You cannot. There is nobody that where they are affiliated to.
Robert,
by the way, there is
people,
nobody to which journalists are affiliated. Now, UJA is there, Uganda Journalists Association, but there are no laws and legislation that governs journalism in this country. Are you aware?
Can Uja
there is no disciplinary committee. Even if a journalist misbehaves, no one is going to touch him. There is no committee that can hold him accountable. It's not there. So that's why we go wrong. First of all, we need to work at internal problems of the association. What are the biting issues within the association? Journalism, it is like a bar. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry enters and gets out. Enters and gets out. There is no rules and regulations whatsoever. The
during your regime, Mr. Kagolo,
are not followed at all.
Something
so what happened?
Police, UJA, and media houses had come up and said, we have a challenge. Our work is sometimes very tricky. Let each media house give us a team of people. We train them. They understand their limits. They understand why you arrive at certain situations. And media houses had cooperated. But then there came a challenge, and this is the biggest problem that I want us to address, that today you'd give in journalists. By closure of the year, they have all left the newsroom. Most of them have gone into advocacy, because that is one of the areas where journalists, where civil society is targeting them. They call them empowerment, advocacy. They first take them for training, and then they have jobs. Then they will drive in that direction of advocacy, that direction of defiance. The others, of course, get greener pastures. So the people that these organizations train to know how best to handle these issues. I was looking at some of the colleagues, with maximum respect to my colleagues in this profession, and I tried to look at people who went through this and know what are the limits. Because some of these trainings you're told, there's no story worth your life, that is first. Second, you can only go to this close with the kind of equipment you have. That a person who view Biswa's camera that has a strong zoom can be at Equatorial and get a picture. You as these camcorders
involving themselves
you want to get that story,
in the struggle, sikafu. You saw what happened at police, CPS. Journalists corroborating a police officer, pulling a police officer. You see, we should avoid the cameras, being seen on camera, also seen to be making news. It is very bad. I told those people that if you are a leader, there is the way you must behave. You are a leader, you become an example to other people. But when you're a leader and you are leading people in the wrong direction, what is going to happen? We are having a very serious problem. Our leaders today, who are in the association, they are looking for political capital. And the issues of journalism, they have left them, they have not concentrated on them. The real issues, bad laws which are in the parliament, which are not helping journalists, they have not discussed about them. They are petitioning about other things. I became very happy when I had Murondo becoming president of the Uganda Parliamentary Police Association, because he knows the problems of journalists. And I thought that they are going to work together with the UJA and HRNG and other organizations to sort out all the bad laws which are there. First of all. Two, they also push for better pay of journalists, but they have not done that. These are the issues which are biting. They are leaving these issues and they are concentrating on political sides. They
Well,
are
I
now
must
looking at
remind
it.
our viewer that a few minutes from now you'll be able to call in and participate in the show. But Felix and Robert, I want us also to look at the side of police. Where there is smoke, there is always a fire.
Of course.
Police brutality, we condemn to the strongest terms, on journalists. Why are we seeing this becoming a habit? Let me begin with Felix.
No, as I said earlier,
It's the norm of being
if you
beaten,
remember in
battered.
my earlier segment, I told you that in our earlier segment, I mentioned something to do with, one, expectation. Okay? Every institution has a mandate to serve. Now, it will serve that at any cost, and probably it will account later. I am not very much certain of the circumstances in which journalists were beaten, or they were clobbered, or arrested for that matter. It's unfortunate I'm not. But I would believe that journalists are normally identified. That one I believe. I would assume, and I hope they were. Secondly, I would assume that the police is aware of their presence. If all these things are in place and a journalist is attacked, that is foolhardy from the police. It is unfair, it is uncalled for. Now, there's something that normally a fundamental always says. The briefing of these people who go out in these operations, the policemen, it depends also on how they were briefed. Do you know that it's possible that a policeman may not know this is a journalist?
Very possible.
For you have been in the field, you've seen this. It is very possible. But the response, you see, every action has a reaction. What am I saying out of this? The police makes error. But we must also attribute error. Maybe from the side of the people who they work with. As I told you, they work in the same space. On by the different missions. This one's mission as a policeman is so different from the mission of a journalist. Differently. You understand? But they have to work in the same
space.
Imagine such a situation. I think we must have a level of compromise. We must understand. And I must strongly, in this particular sense, you see, we are all political animals and we can't separate ourselves from politics or what. But we must be honest. I think at some level we must usher honesty, and mostly as leaders. What you see, they are very. For example, the march of the journalists, did it yield fruits?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They did not get anything.
So if it was meant to help their colleagues,
delivered,
a petition is a petition. Why the colleagues assisted?
First of all, they say,
I think we must think twice on the approach.
They talked about blackout, that we are going to do a blackout.
Before
we
we go to the blackout, I want to look at this thing very critically that Felix pointed. You have a policeman whose role is to
the mission is different.
Order, restore order.
Instructions. He has got instruction
In a
go and do
situation
this.
that is abnormal. But
And your instructions are different.
You have a journalist who is to tell the story as it happened. But remember, as you're moving with your camera and reporting some of these activities, that some are tainting. It's not a problem of the journalist that you mishandle a Makele strike. It's not my problem. I'm there to tell the story that as you are doing your operations,
but you're telling your story in the battle of fire.
Yes. So
it's really a catch.
Where are we blaming a person? Even God had Gabriel who was delivering messages to the people he wanted to communicate to. So these are people that are doing their work.
Where are you blaming what?
Where do we fault a journalist who has come to do his work?
Who fought journalists? First of all, a journalist there is what called occupation hazard.
Yes.
When you come here, what you go through, we don't know it. What we want is to see on a set. That's what we're interested in. You were trained. By virtue of your training, you must tell the public what is happening. You don't want to know. Public needs to know. So the training of journalists and the training of police is completely different.
Yeah.
You are supposed to give the story as it is, as a journalist. As it is, absolutely and certainly 100%. As a journalist. As a police officer, you must make sure that you protect the life of the people and their property. And that's the oath. That's you
restore order.
Restore order, peace, and security. You're a journalist, you need just get a story. This man is protecting life You must strike a balance between someone who is protecting life and someone who wants a story, which is bigger. You weigh also. Much as you want the news and the people must get the news, but life is equally important. For me, if 10 people have been killed, that's what I'm going to report. 10 people have been killed, and what is going to happen in the country? This is so, that's the extent at which we must be tolerant to each other. The level of compromise must rise. We talked about should we blame police, should we blame
Well,
journalists?
let's speak a caller. It's time to have people give us their opinions. Hello, good morning. Oh, sorry, we've lost you, but I've opened up my lines, and the number is just on your screen, 0702 23 24 25, so you can call and be part of this discussion. Okay? Yes, Kagolo.
A journalist, he wants to write a story.
Yes, true.
A police officer wants to protect life. Okay? Who should do what? Who should fight harder? Because for you, remember in the scaffold, whatever happens in there, you never know it. For example, Young was killed when Tiza Besigye was moving with a group, and he was stoned to death. And the story was Alionga has been killed and what and what. That's what happened.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from? Yes, Kaziba Moses.
I'm calling from Mbuya.
Mm.
In Nakawa.
Yes. Go ahead, Kaziba.
Hello.
Go ahead, I'm getting you.
Hello.
I'm getting you. Go ahead.
Morning to you.
Morning.
Moses Kasa, I'm calling from Mbuya in Nakawa.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to thank you and the man, Kagolo. But you see, the problem why journalists suffer, one show this. Because the other time in Makela I saw, one journalist was neck to neck with a student striking. When it was covered by another media person, this part of the team covered to be seen on these other medias. So when they covered, they covered this is also dangerous. These cameras can capture someone who is even in a hardware limited. But he wants also to be together with those who are striking. What do you expect? Another thing, when someone thought is a policeman, you don't cover. You edit that one. But you want to show what a policeman does. Because they don't want to balance. They are too political and partisan. That is why you say I'm beaten. Because I'm a police officer. You don't have that one. You don't see it in the news or in the Bible. When I do one, I am seeing, and they have a tendency, the take has to tell the public this person that he is wrong, so that wherever he goes, he might be what he might be happening.
Okay, thank you, because
we need to be professional.
Journalists being partisan and also interested in showbiz. They want to be part of the story that they want to tell. Well, we are still receiving callers, and that is the number on your screen. I want to receive a number of them so that we can reply. Hello, good morning.
Yes,
please be a bit more audible.
morning.
Morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, I'm getting you. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Kajiansi.
Calling from Kajiansi.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, me, the problem I see with the police, they're putting protection behind law.
Please, I'm getting you. My friend, I think there's a problem with your network, but you can keep on trying. You never know. We'll be able to pick you. Sorry, we lost you. That is a gentleman from Kajansi. I didn't get your side of the story or your input. Hello, good morning. Please just step away from your TV set. Be a bit audible. Give me your name and where you're calling from so that we can effectively compare. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah. I'm calling from Masaka.
You're calling from Masaka, yes?
Yeah. I want to be connected to that program.
Yeah, you're live on UBC TV. Just go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, you're live on UBC TV. Just give us your name.
Oh, okay. I'm calling Mukasa from Masaka.
Mokasa from Masaka.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mokasa.
But I'm wondering the way Mr. Kagolo is discussing, he's taking discussion. He doesn't seem to be someone professional. According to the brutality, we, the civilians, see how journalists have been treated. For him, he's just saying showbiz and political interest. Shows even the times when he was still in the office. He must not have produced a very good reason because he looks very, very partisan. If you see the brutality, how the police is handling journalists, and you're just saying, those people are looking for fame and what? Are you serious, Mr. Kagolo? Are you serious? When your brothers and sisters are being treated that way, it's a shame that one time we were in the office.
Okay, thank you, Mokasa. They are calling in from Masaka. Look at Mr. Kagolo as maybe a person that is not really being honest with the journalism fraternity because it says the brutality, you can't refer to that as conflict of interest. But you're still picking calls. You'll have a time to respond to Mokasa there from Masaka. The number is on your screen, and please just give me your name, where you're calling from. Hello. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. My name is Aikomo Eddie from Kajansi.
Eddie from
Kajansi. Yes, and for me, yes, I'm also not happy with the way Mr. Kagolo is debating. Because if he's saying there is partisanship in journalism, then it is him that I'm saying is on the side of the NRM and the government. Because these decisions are all defending the government, the police and what. Because if he's really a true journalist and in solidarity with the journalist, this journalist, the one who was beaten, I don't remember his name, but the one who was beaten on the head and heart, wasn't he professional enough? He had all the qualifications and the ethics. So I don't think Mr. Kagolo should style up in the way it is.
Okay,
I'm disappointed in him. I even don't know how he really managed to lead.
Uja. Okay, that is Eddie from Kajansi saying, Kagolo, how did you manage even to have your term of office there? I just want to pick one final caller, Kagolo, and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Let me just pick one final caller in the interest of time. Then if time allows, I'll be able to pick more calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Fine.
What is UBC?
Yes, this is UBC TV. Oh, sorry. Please, when you go through, just give me your name and where you're calling from. Then, importantly, reduce the volume of your set. Or completely move away from your TV set so that we can... Good morning. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling.
Hello?
I'm getting you, but reduce the volume of your set, please.
Yes, I'm Rima Jamal calling from Chebando, Salo.
Amal from Chebando, Salo. Got you right?
Yes. So, what we would need to know for this topic? Hello?
I'm getting you. Go ahead, gentlemen. But reduce the volume of your TV. Please reduce the volume of your TV. Or move away completely from your TV set.
Yes.
Okay, now go ahead. Proceed.
So, for us as the members of the public, we need to know whether there is any connection between journalism and the law. Because if we are saying that we are preventing journalists from airing out information in what is happening in the public,
well, Amal, allow me end it at that. Because I'm getting... please go ahead, but your volume is disturbing me. I'm getting a feedback. Amal, well, thank you so much for your contribution, Amal. Of course, you are wondering if there is any law that protects journalists as they do their work. Because they say they're not giving us what they should. We can't prevent them. Final caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from. sorry we lost you. I just want one final caller, then I'll get back to the gentleman in studios here. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, I'm getting you, please. Just give me your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Your name and where you're calling from. You're live on UBC TV.
From Bro. This is UBC TV.
Yes, Kasivante. This is UBC TV.
Hello.
Go ahead, Kasivante.
Hello.
Go ahead, please. Well, Kasivante, I believe you have a network problem, and let me hold calls at that, please. And I come back to Mr. Kagolo. We have Moses Kaziba. He was talking about the journalists being so interested in showbiz.
They want to be part of the story.
They want to be part of the stories.
They want to make story.
They
also,
partisan.
they want to make news and
they
also
have political
apply
interest.
for international visas. I'm telling you. You see, let me tell you one thing. First of all, I'm so grateful for all those callers because they have been following. And by the way, this is early morning, but when someone saves time to watch us, you have great people. That's why we thank you very much. That's a very good credit. However, I don't want to agree with you. You have got your opinion, I also have my opinion. I was a leader of Uja, you have never been a leader of Uja. So I know what I'm talking about. You should discuss better what you know and leave this one to me, because I know it better. I have been this for over 10 years in the association.
But
so
they are viewing and also analyzing what
they
you're talking.
they are analyzing,
what you're
but leadership, we cannot have the same mind.
You think you're selfish. You don't, because even at
We
some point...
cannot...
Or you're compromised, and that's what I
No,
talk about.
no,
Even your administration...
no one can compromise me, and for me, I am the issue of journalists, about the pay of journalists. These other things will come in, because these journalists, they don't have even school fees to pay for their children. Facts be told, they don't have. These people, they are just deceiving them. They are NGOs which have entered journalists. And these NGOs, they do activism and they get money. Their leaders are getting money. They are the one on the front, yet they are getting money. At the expense of journalists. Journalists, by the time they realize that it will be too late, it will be too late. You have been used and you are going to continue being used by people. These people, they have got their intentions to get money. Because when journalists, these people who seem to be leaders of journalists, when they are corroborated and taken to police, journalists, they write stories and they go to the donors and they get money. That one, I don't want to go there. Please don't push me to discuss such issues. However, I don't condone police, the brutality that was meant to journalists. I don't condone it whatsoever. I don't. And I'm for that. And I'm against that. So what I'm saying, journalists should be professional. They will have professional code of conduct and ethics. How do they say about our job? And two, your journalism no longer noble. You're noble professional. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry has become a journalist. What you call the cropping up of citizen journalism. This one is taking us, it is eating us up. It's like a social media as it is eating up the traditional media. Social media is becoming a threat. We as journalists, we need now to discuss about such issues. How do we survive in this digitalized world? I have not had any debate about that. But we are busy petitioning over the brutality that's meted on us. It's not good to be beaten. But what are the circumstances under which we are beaten?
So our priorities wrong?
The priorities we have, we are not putting them right. We need to go down on the drawing board and discuss. After discussion, we get what called tangible results that are going to transform the media in Uganda. Uganda, we are not so bad off. In Congo, there was a journalist who was killed, I think the other day. You know why he was killed? Has been writing negative stories about Congo. Say, Ebola outbreak every time and then. He was killed. His family, his wife, the children, all were killed. Why? Because the stories that he has been writing, they have been negative for the country and they have been scaring our investors. Are we to that level? There are issues. So we need to work on smaller issues. These are just smaller issues that we need to work on. And we see journalism flourishing and blossoming in this country. There is nothing that can deter it from blossoming. If and only if we sit down as leaders and find the solution. Where did we go wrong? The problem that we have in journalism today, they did not start today or yesterday. They have been here since 1962, 1963, when the Journalism Association, Uganda Journalism Association was formed. People want journalist leaders to be politicians. Me, I'm not a politician. They want me to be a politician. You are a journalist leader. You are a leader. You must be a politician. You cannot. We must separate politics from leadership. If you want to be a successful leader in journalism, separate. My young brothers and sisters, all of them, I like them so much. Bashir Kazibwe is my uncle. Bayola is almost my son. They are all there in the association. We guide them, but sometimes they don't listen. And you leave them because they are mature, they are above 18 years. You leave them to do what. But when they fall into trap, they come back and we advise. Because I'm the board of, by the way, chairman, council of elders. I sit with them and then we discuss.
Felix, time is not our best ally, but as we wind up, looking at police brutality and, of course, journalists reacting.
No, it is very unfair, and I must say this, if any police personnel or leadership is watching, if they are interested to hear, I must say that this must stop. It has been it has become habitual. One would want to think that maybe you enjoy it, but I can tell you that on top of you insulting, assaulting, battering journalists, you will need these people. You hold press conferences every Monday. Let me tell you the essence of the fourth estate. If for those you bother to read, it is one of the biggest catalysts of development, socio-economic, religious, but it can be the biggest breaker of any society. Don't push journalists to that point. Don't push them. I think as a country, as an institution, police should support journalists in any way. In fact, take them for this, train them how you want to work with them. How you need the fourth estate. You must work with it. And I think going forward, let us have some sort of, dialogue. I think we can talk about this, even for the leadership of the journalists out there. Let us first exhaust most peaceful means, then we go to the violent means.
Well, thank you, Felix. And, of course, former UJA President Robert Kagolo there. We've been looking at police, the journalist strike that is ongoing because they said we're not going to cover any activity of the police until our demands have been reached. Just to remind you, tomorrow is Thursday, and every Thursday we have the police in studios. We shall be having a police officer here in studios, and we shall be still looking at the same topic that is tomorrow in GMU agenda. So make it a point. Let's get it from the police. What are they saying? But very importantly to note, we all need one another. The journalists must tell the story. Police must prevent, detect, and also protect lives and property. So how do we strike the balance? Let's work together. Let each of these two parties be professional and stick to their professional code of ethics. We have issues of poor pay. This should be the priorities of our association. Poor pay, issues of people upgrading, professionalism. All these are challenges that sometimes you might look at the problem but forgetting the cause of the problems. Equal to the police force.
And we are so much
people
divided.
Come on empty stomachs.
Allow me say this before you go. We are so much divided. There is what called elite journalists and journalists. Have you heard of that term, phrase? The elite and journalists. The so-called now. Can you bring Andrew Mend and such a discussion of journalists? Now Honorable Semujunganda was with us, but can you bring him anymore? There are many people who have left us because they have seen our conduct is not befitting. That's why we are being used, and they are seeing it, and they know how journalists can be.
Some of them also, have just been optimistic people that have used the profession to get where they want to be. Well, I just have to end it at that. And Ruben Pima will be coming in to give us the sports updates. All the updates in the world of sports. But before, we shall have the quote of the day. Good morning, and keep it on UBC TV.